Hi and welcome to Warts and All Wellbeing. Today I thought we'd have a look at some of the frameworks that are out there that look at wellbeing and help us to ensure that we've got good well-being, that kind of tell us the elements, if you like. And I think when we're talking about well-being, it's a little bit like the weather. So the weather is made up of a whole number of different things. You don't just get weather. You get sun, you get rain, you get snow, you get cloud, you get mist, you get fog, you get all sorts of types of rain. I just remember Peter Kay, it's spitting. So all of those things make up the weather. And in the same way, there are different frameworks that make up well-being. Well-being is like the umbrella term, if you like. So some of those elements, so I'll give you my top three in reverse order that I particularly think are useful. I don't think it actually matters which one you use. I don't think it matters which one, whether one's any better or that. All three of the ones I'm going to talk about are well researched. And I think it's really about, like with all of this, it's really about finding what works for you and what you find the most useful. So, having said that, we'll start with number three. In at number three, da, 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 da. All right, in at number three is Martin Seligman's PERMA model. So Martin Seligman is often referred to as the godfather of positive psychology, and his framework for well-being is PERMA: positive emotion, engagement, relationships, meaning, and accomplishment. And what he says is that in order for us to have well-being, and remember I defined well-being using Rachel Dodge last time, which is that balance. In order for us to have well-being, we need to have all five of those areas in some shape or form in our lives. So positive emotion, engagement, relationship, meaning, and accomplishment. And it might be that for some of us, some of those areas are really strong and other areas are not so strong. And so when we know about those five pillars, we can actually say, well, my relationships actually are not as good as I'd want them to be. That's an area I can target. Or it might be that we go, I've been feeling fairly flat today, so my emotions are not feeling that great. Maybe there's something I can do to actually lift my mood. So PERMA in at number three. The second wellbeing framework that I can talk about is Lee Waters' SEARCH framework. So Lee Waters is a professor at the University of Melbourne. She's actually my lecturer when I did my master's there. And she and Ruben Rusk did a whole bunch of research, and they called it a meta-analysis, which basically means they look at thousands and thousands of research papers and they kind of draw together all the different conclusions. And what they did back then was to say which are the areas that have been the most researched, that we've got the most information about from a scientific perspective. And so they came up, originally they were the 5 domains of positive functioning. So what's happened then is Lee's taken that, developed it further, done some more research, and has actually come up with 6 domains that she says make up visible well-being. So she's using the acronym SEARCH, which I think really helps us to remember what they are. So you got this, let's see if it helps. So the first one there is strengths. Then we've got emotional management, SEA. Then we've got attention and awareness. Then we've got R, which is relationships. Then we've got C, which is coping and strategies for coping. And the last one, H, is for habits and goals. Woohoo! Get me. All right, so SEARCH is another framework. So again, you can look at each of those and you say, if I want to look at my well-being and I want to be proactive and deliberate, are there things that I can put into my life in each of those categories? Because if I can up each of those categories, then I'm more likely to actually be able to dynamically balance the resources and the challenges, and I'm actually more likely to have well-being. So that's my number 2. And so at number 1, my all-time favourite is actually the 5 ways to well-being, which was developed by the New Economics Foundation, the NEF. And if you Google, they're from the UK, if you Google them, you'll see their strapline is economics as if people and the planet matter. And I think that that's a fantastic way to move forward. So they have there the 5 ways to well-being, and they talk about the first one, connect. The second one, be active. Then we've got take notice, keep learning, and give. And they're the 5 ways to well-being, and that's been adopted all over the place. I know in New Zealand they do a lot of work with the 5 ways to well-being. Some of the councils that I worked with back in Adelaide use those 5 ways to well-being. And for me, I think that's a really fantastic strategy. The reason I really like it, and right now I'm going to take you back to primary school days, and so this is a shout out to Mr. Whitwood, who was my teacher when I was in year 6, although back then it was old money, so I was in year 4. He actually taught us that whole thing around what is a noun and what is a verb. So you may remember that a noun is the name of a person, a place, or a thing. And both Search and PERMA tend to be using the nouns to describe the elements of well-being. And that's great and fantastic. However, the 5 ways to well-being are using verbs. And as we can all remember from our primary school days, verbs are doing words. So I really like that because it tells me what I need to do if I want to help my well-being. So if I want to feel good and function well, if I want to be able to balance well, I need to connect with others. I need to connect with myself. I need to connect with others. And for those of you who maybe have some spirituality, you need to connect with something bigger than yourself. But that connection is what I need to do. I need to be active. I don't have to sit there going, oh, I wonder how I do get more meaning in my life. I just go to the 5 ways to well-being. It tells me what I need to do. I need to connect with others. I need to be active. I need to keep learning. I need to take notice, which, equivalent to Lee Waters' search, attention and awareness. And I need to give. So there's lots and lots of crossovers between all of them. Interestingly enough, all 3 of those frameworks have relationship as something that's essential to our well-being. So we'll do another little video about that another time, something for us just to be reminded of. But I just wanted to emphasize it's not about having all of those elements all of the time. If you're in lockdown, you can't really be active as much as if you're not in lockdown. But it could be that you could do one of the other ways to well-being, and you can emphasize that there. It's about being deliberate and cultivating those practices which are going to help us with our well-being. So I know for me, when I'm feeling not so fantastic and I'm trying to go, okay, what can I do? I'm feeling pretty rubbish and I need to, do something. I actually will look at those 5 ways to well-being. Maybe I'll go out for a walk, and when I'm out for a walk, I'll be active, but I'll also keep noticing. Even today I was out mowing, I was going to say vacuuming, I was mowing the grass, and we got little bits of bud coming on one of the little trees. So I'm guessing that's going to turn into blossom. I don't know, haven't lived here that long, never seen the tree blossom. But I noticed that and I'm like, oh, that's interesting, because taking notice is one of those 5 ways to well-being. So I'll leave that with you. You can Google them, you can not Google them, you can do whatever you like with them, but whatever you're doing, I'm hoping that these videos are just helping you be deliberate and being intentional about things that you can do to help with your well-being. All right, take care, and we'll speak again soon. Bye.